I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable. What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson. On a scale from Ryan Reynolds to Justin Baldoni, how reasonable have you been? On a scale from Justin Baldoni to Ryan Reynolds, how reasonable have you guys been this week? Yeah, I got new hair and it's tight. I got new hair and it's tight. I just wanted some straight backs for the week. I don't know if they're going to be here next week, but I definitely was just like, I feel like having some straight backs. And so now I have some straight backs. Hey, you guys. Ooh, okay, let's see what we're talking about today on I'm Reasonable. I could actually do an entire episode on What's Up with Z, but I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it. Yes, I ain't going to, whatever. I could do a whole episode on What's Up with Z, but I'm not going to do it. However, I am going to talk about what I believe to be one of the most unreasonable comments that I have read in a while. And the reason why I believe it's unreasonable is because I think the person believes that they were really being reasonable. Anyway, we're going to get into that. In the main topics, we are going to discuss Don Lemon and then co-signed by comedian D.L. Hughley. The title in the media said that you can't be black and support MAGA. So can you? That's what we'll talk about today. Can you be black and support MAGA or MAGA, however they say it? Speaking of MAGA, however you want to say it, Trump managed to say even dumber things this past week. And so we'll take a listen to those. And remember last week when I asked y'all, or remember when last week when I posed to you guys that Trump must be like in love, not like he loves him or he respects him or admires him, in love, like in love, infatuation with Elon Musk. There's only more proof of that. And then if we have time, if I'm not depleted before we get to it, I'll do it on another episode if that happens. But you guys, I don't know if you are familiar with the singer Dawn Robinson. She is a former member of the super hit group En Vogue from like, I think the 90s, in the early 2000s. But she uploaded a video explaining that she was living in her car. And so hopefully if we have time, we'll get into that. And then we have an Ask Z that has an upload question. But as you guys know, before we get into that, let's talk about where you can see me live. April 4th, I'll be in New York City. Add yourself to the wait list. I've had a few of you guys hit me up and be like, I'm added to the wait list. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I hope that you do get in. If not, next time you'll see me when I come back around. April 11th and 12th, I will be in Toronto, Canada. May 2nd through the 4th, Arlington, Texas. May 16th and 17th, Stamford, Connecticut. May 18th, Boston, Massachusetts. May 30th, Atlanta, Georgia. June 5th, St. Louis, Missouri. June 6th through the 8th, Kansas City, Missouri. So that's June 6th through the 8th, Kansas City, Missouri. June 13th and 14th, San Francisco, California. June 19th through the 21st, Baltimore, Maryland. June 27th through the 28th, Tampa, Florida. That'll be my first time ever performing in Tampa, I believe. No, I performed in Ybor City. I featured in Ybor City years ago, like early in my career, but this will be my first time headlining. And I believe Ybor City is in Tampa. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not, but I believe that Ybor City is an area in Tampa. But regardless, this will be my first time headlining in Tampa, Florida. So that is June 27th and 28th. September 26th and 27th, I'll be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. October 10th and 11th, Cleveland, Ohio. October 17th through the 19th, West Nyack, New York. November 21st through the 22nd, November 21st through the 22nd, November 21st and 22nd, Detroit, Michigan. And then December 5th through the 7th, Addison, Texas. I am still working on Miami dates, Oakland dates, Sacramento dates, and a lot of other cities, as well as European, or I shouldn't say European, but international dates. So just stay tuned, okay? Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. And in order to stay tuned, what do you have to do? You have to subscribe. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you like what you're hearing and seeing, go ahead and give it a like button and make sure to share the episode so that the views can reflect that you like what I'm doing. All right. What's up with Z? So I want to read you guys a comment. So I went live this past Sunday. We talked about Michelle Obama's new podcast, IMO, which is the acronym for In My Opinion, and another podcast with the same title from some young men, some black young men, young black British young men. And so we talked about that on the Weekend Live this past Sunday. And I got a comment on that live. And I don't want to say it bothered me because I didn't. And one could argue like, well, I mean, you bringing it to the podcast. So I'm actually, it didn't. And I responded in how I felt. And I still feel the same exact way. But I felt like it was so unreasonable. And so I wanted to ask you guys, do you think it's unreasonable, or do you think me thinking it's unreasonable is unreasonable? Okay, let me find it. Let me find it. I should have had it queued up, right? Lives. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so this comment was left a day ago, or 2 days ago, rather. And it says, I really enjoy your shows, but this one was not it. So much negative body talk. I had to log off the live early. And that whole bit about holding the live till everyone likes, and that whole bit about holding the live till everyone likes, like we are kids, was a bit much. Please take this as constructive criticism. You are smart and insightful. So you have smart, insightful viewers. We are not kids. You know the type of person I am. People, like, if people get on the lives or they comment on any of my videos and they say things that like are overtly like racist, sexist, hateful, stupid, whatever, I actually don't pay those no mind because I just know that is like a part of this, right? But when someone who seems to be like a genuine fan or genuine listener, viewer, write stuff like this is the stuff to be like, you know what, I guess I probably just ain't gonna do it no more. First of all, and I say this in a comment, I commented back. I said, this is not constructive at all. It's actually evidence of your own issues. And the reason why I say that is because there was not one piece of negative body talk. I'll repeat what I said. I talked about the type of old lady I'd like to be. First of all, I could talk about myself however I want to talk about myself. I talked about how beautiful my mother was. I talked about my grandmother and my mother trying to figure out, what type of old lady am I going to be? Then one of the people on the live said that even when they in their 60s, whatever, they're going to be wearing mini skirts like Tina Turner, which they can. And my comment was, well, girl, if you got the legs, do it. That's the reason why Tina Turner wore those mini skirts. That this is not rocket science. It's a reason why women with large cleavage wear shirts that show that. It's a reason why I wear pants that show off my long leg. There's a reason. And I said, just because clothes are made doesn't mean you have to wear those clothes. And if that ain't rocket science, like if that's not just like Logic 101, if that ain't just basics, if you hear a person say that, and part of me, I could be wrong. I could be reaching with this one, but part of me feels like maybe it's the messenger. Like maybe if I was a bigger woman or maybe a not so attractive one, maybe if I had some like overt and obvious like flaw or physical thing to work on, then maybe it would not have been received as like a trigger. But actually, if you talk to anybody, there's a point in time where clothes were functional, right? We have gotten past the point of clothes being functional. First of all, a mini skirt ain't functional. That's first of all. We have gotten past the part of clothes being functional, right? Now clothes are, a lot of people be trying to meet fashion with function, but a lot of us out here, which is why fast fashion has gotten so freaking popular. It's actually ruining the earth. Because people are putting fashionable. Christian Louboutin said my shoes are not made for comfort. They definitely ain't made for walking. They're made to look good. So when I say just because a clothing is made don't mean you got to wear it. How you don't take that as like a light bulb moment? All of my 20s, I used to buy those the little kind of like wrap shirts, like meaning they were almost like wrap right here, right on your chest. And then they would like baby doll out, right? I just thought that those were so cute. You would see those with some like low rise jeans, or you know what I'm saying? Like I just thought, or even some like baggy like cargo pants. I just thought that it was such a feminine shirt, right? And then because it like kind of flows like that, you ain't got to worry about being bloated. You ain't got to worry about being on your period. If your jeans is low rise and you worried about your butt crack being out, because again, like I said, this is when I was a little bit younger, right? You ain't got to worry about when you moving around and sitting down, your butt crack being out, right? But I could never wear those shirts. I would buy them all the time. The reason why I could not wear those shirts is because I am very broad up here, but for some reason I'm very small right here. Like it's not really proportionate. And so every time I would buy a top that would fit me here, it would not fit here and vice versa. And I'm just not the type of woman that's about to stuff stuff in her bra. And so as much as those shirts were made, they never did anything for me. They never accentuated any part of my aesthetic. So why would I wear it? Why would I wear it? It's some people that I know, they only wear like they only wear really short shorts, right? Because they got like really thick, nice thighs, right? And they only wear like really short shorts. They don't wear Bermuda shorts. They don't wear jorts. They don't wear, they don't wear any short that is going to cut off what the part of their leg that they trying to show. So how does me saying that, how is that negative body talk? Then, this is that I could actually, to be very honest with y'all, or you, if you're watching, I could be very honest. And anybody, I ain't gonna call you out, but y'all could go to the comments and see it. And anybody could, like, I recognize that some things, a lot of things actually, are triggers for people. And most, I don't want to say most of us, because I'm very aware. But a lot of people don't actually know their triggers. It's like I tell a story often enough where I used to do a joke, or I did a joke rather. It's on TV now, so I don't do the joke anymore. And it was all about like, women being crazy, right? This idea of like women being crazy. And my take on it was like, sure, we are crazy, but we're only crazy because men make us crazy, right? And when I start off the joke, I say, how many women make noise if you can admit that you're crazy? And most women just make noise in a comedy club, right? And I said, if you're not making noise, don't worry. It's like HPV. It's in there. It's just lying dormant, waiting for the right person to bring it out. Now, if you know anything about HPV, that's exactly what HPV does. It lies dormant, and then something can bring it out. Something or someone can activate the HPV. Now, this woman, unfortunately, got HPV and watched my joke and sent me a very, very long letter. How dare you? Started the letter off just like you. I really enjoy your shows. You're so smart. You're so this. You're so that. Thinking that cushions, that you trying to place that you trying to make me accountable for your shit. I might not even talk about no topics today. You were my favorite comment. You were my favorite comedian until I saw this joke. I know we've never met, but I always thought you were my friend. All the jokes you tell, it's just like my friend telling a joke. Told me the whole story about how she got HPV from a partner that was, that was unfaithful to her. Sad story. But I said nothing disparaging about HPV. I parallel HPV. Facts about HPV. In an attempt to liberate women from the stigma of being crazy when most times our behavior is justified in a response to some sort of action. Yeah, I'm cutting up your clothes. I didn't just wake up this morning and want to cut up your clothes. But now I'm finding lipstick all over your clothes and it ain't my lipstick. So yeah, something is going to go off in me to make me cut up your clothes. So if you think that that's crazy, well then what do you call what you did to cause it? That was the point of my joke. Right? I had to explain to this one. I don't know why, because I never do. Just like I'm talking about this, whatever. I respond, and this was a long message that this woman sent me. And I said, tell me some of the stuff that you laugh at. I guarantee that every single thing that you laugh at is a problem for some other person in the world. So should we all just shut up? Also, like I'm asking you, negative body talk. Unsubscribe, please. I'm asking you, what did I say? What did I say bad? How did I weaponize HPV or say something bad about HPV or anybody with HPV? Go back through the joke. I asked her, go back. Watch it slow. Watch it over and over and over again, please. And tell me. Also, I'm inclined to believe that you actually don't have friends. And that might sound mean, but my friends are smart, independent thinkers. That means that we don't always agree on things. That means that we have downright debates and arguments on things that we don't see eye to eye on. And the reason why we're friends is because we're able to move past our disagreements. And there's still enough love and respect there. So this is the part that really bothered me. had to log off. That ain't the part that bothered me, but I had to log off. You did it. You did it. Whatever. And the whole bit, this is the part that bothered me. And the whole bit, first of all, what bit? And the whole bit about holding the live till everyone likes, like we are kids. I got to ask y'all. I got to ask my moderators. I got to ask y'all, did y'all think that I was treating you guys like children? I got to know. Because that definitely wasn't my intent. My response was, and I'm giving my time, my thoughts, my insight, my Sunday afternoon. I ain't even put in the comments in the middle of the afternoon while the sun is up during Ramadan, and you got the nerve to have a problem with me saying, make sure you like this video. It's half the likes than the amount of people in this room. The likes help the viewership. And so if you support me at all, you'd want multiple people to view this. How could you have a problem with that? This is the most unreasonable thing I have read in a very long time. So I'm asking you guys, who's unreasonable here? And if you want to go see the comments for yourself, it is under, whatchamacallit? It's under Sunday's Live, this past Sunday's Live. What's the main topics? Let's see, what did I say I was going to talk about? What's first in Z main topics? Oh, okay, so Don Lemon was on Bill Maher. And let me play that for y'all, actually. Let me just play that clip so I don't have to do a bad job paraphrasing. Oh, sorry, I just went on TMZ and Jonathan Majors and Megan Good, it says they tied the knot. Well, that's really nice, especially since I feel like this morning Rolling Stone put out an article like an old audio of him admitting that he, got violent with his ex-girlfriend. But it's like, yeah, that's what he already went to trial for that, was found guilty of it, right? Of the misdemeanor. Like, so that's nice. That's nice that they got married. Okay. That's not why I'm here. Let me see. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, dun, dun. I'm only looking on TMZ because I feel like that's where I saw it. But see, here's the thing about TMZ though. They update so constantly. It's like now I'm looking at stuff that I hadn't seen. I'm like, wait, what about Tiana Taylor? I just love Tiana Taylor. It's certain girlies that I'm just like, Tiana Taylor, Kiki. It's just certain ones, and I'm just like, what you doing, girl? Go ahead and do it. Okay. Okay, so I want to see I don't want to show you okay.
Black Republicans, but I see a black MAGA person who is carrying Donald Trump's water and they know that he's lying. It is the shortest line to the front. Because if you're black and you're whatever, you're just in line with a bunch of other Democrats that are doing the same thing that you're doing. But if you become a black MAGA person, it's like, whoa, let's book this person, let's put him on television.
So you don't think you can be a sincere black MAGA person?
No, I just said, I don't think that, I just said, I think there can be sincere Republicans.
But you can't be a sincere black Republican?
I don't think that you can be a rational MAGA, be black and be a rational MAGA person. I think you can be black and be a Republican.
I think they would find that very insulting.
Well, I mean, the truth is often insulting.
So the actually headlines for this article said, D.L. Hughley says Don Lemon's right. You can't be black and support MAGA. And that's actually the thing that stood out to me. Like, You can't be black and support MAGA. And let's be very clear, I am black and I do not support MAGA. But I'm going to just get into like, this is like really semantics, because I actually agree with what Don Lemon said. It's just, but okay. So Don Lemon's basically saying like, if you are black and a Democrat, currently, right, then there's so many other people like you. And so you may not get attention, you may not get ahead, people may not like think of all the singers, right, that Kamala could have gotten when she was running. But it's like, if she could get Beyonce, then, you know, I don't want to name anybody to throw anybody under the bus, but if you can get Beyonce, then, and so everybody else is in line, right? That's basically what he's saying. Like, you just not really special, essentially, if you're like a black Democrat. But if you are a black Republican, which he's saying you definitely can be, he's saying if you are a black Republican, then you become a little bit more special. And then if you are a black Republican MAGA supporter, then they're going to put you right to the front of the line, because they're going to use you to say, hey, look, see, we all right. What y'all talking about? We racist. We trying to do all of this stuff to black people and subsequently every other marginalized group. What y'all talking about? Look, we got somebody black at the rally. We got somebody Spanish at the rally. We got somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got all these people you say we don't like. We got them at the rally. And we're going to play them a nice little hefty price to you know, so that's what Don Lemon is saying, right? And he said, he believes, because Bill Maher asked, do you believe that you can't be black and sincerely like a MAGA supporter? Like, the two just can't exist. Which, like, if we just go into the world of like mathematics and physics, it's like they definitely can exist, right? And so, and Don Lemon knows that. Like, Don Lemon knows the semantics of it all, which is why at the very end he clarified and said, well, I think that there's something wrong with them. That's his opinion, you know? And then I guess the people at TMZ, Harvey Levy, is that his name? And his other host, the black guy with the dreads. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but he's been around for a very long time. On TMZ, I guess they sat down with D.L. Hughley, and this is what D.L. Hughley said. I may not play the whole
What about his
interview.
point? What about his point?
I think that obviously we're not a monolith, but I will say this. I remember when Donald Trump was on stage saying in Detroit, I believe it was, and he said any black person that doesn't support me needs their head examined. But he was on stage with Tommy Hearns and Antonio Brown, two black people that definitely need their head examined. So
you always got to remember that D.L. Hughley is a comedian also, and so it's gonna be jokes in there. Okay, he ain't ever gonna be just giving you straight political talk. He gonna find a way to be funny.
I think there is something to the fact that I think that black people in the MAGA movement are like, when Donald Trump rolls them out, like if he got convicted of 34 felonies, Stephen A. Smith will say, well, that's why black people can relate to him. Or when he's getting ready to dismantle black history, he'll call Marcellus Wiley out to come to a black.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like that's been a talking point for a while, ever since Trump was indicted. He technically wasn't arrested, but indicted, tried, found guilty, etc. I feel like a lot of people, Stephen A. Smith being one of them, had that talking point where it's like, this is why this is a reason for black people to see themselves in him. And I don't know, like maybe that is true for someone that is also black, that they just like, yeah, I mean, I'm a felon as well. And, I feel like this government is against me. I, being a black person, don't identify with any criminal because of their criminality. I can empathize with someone's life, someone's situation, but I don't see myself in any criminal, especially simply because they're a criminal. That's like I think that was a very wild thing for Stephen A. Smith. Somebody that just picks up their phone and just does a front facing like vlog for TikTok or whatever. Them saying it's sure because I don't. They don't have the responsibility of like a really, really huge platform, But for Stephen A. Smith to say that when he did was like pretty outlandish. Although I'm not naive enough to think that there aren't some people who do happen to be black and is like, oh yeah, he is the same as me. They try and stop what he trying to do.
Black History Celebration, or when he's defunding cancer research for kids, he'll call a black kid out who has cancer. So he uses, Donald Trump uses black people like most people use Fabuloso to clean the smell up.
He's a comedian. But he's basically saying that Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, they use black people and any other marginalized group, any other non-straight, any other group or person that identifies as a not straight, who doesn't identify as a straight white guy. They use them as tokens, like they're going to bring you out. They're going to bring you out when it's convenient to, push back on maybe some negative press that they're getting, and that's it.
But believe me, this is not my defense of Donald Trump. I have lots of issues, but it's not exclusive to black people. I mean, gay people. There are gay people.
No.
A lot of them who support Donald Trump, and gay marriage is on the chopping block.
But look at what they all have in common. They all have this in common.
But that's why I don't just stop it like black, because it's like it's not just black. It's gonna be black first always, but it's any marginalized group. It's just like, yeah, there are. I mean, look at what's her name? I guess it's a he now, right? Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, I don't know what to call that person under Trump's. My sensibility wants to say you're a trans woman because that's what you've been asking us. But according to him, and that's somebody that person supports, right, wholeheartedly. And I think that goes into the logic of like people voting against their like own interests, people aligning against their own interest. And so this, like all of this that we talked about is not really like, it's not, one, it's not rocket science, but it's actually the title of this post that got me, which is you can't be black and support MAGA. And I kind of really hate that sentence, because so I don't like when anybody says because of a way you live your life, what you believe, who you partner with, what your experiences have been in life, who you vote for, that does not make you black, right? The thing about being black is no one can take that away from you. Even when it's people try to make it convenient. I don't know how you guys feel, whether you believe Kamala is black or not, but there are points in her life where being black and being identified as black is going to serve her. And there's going to be times where it's not going to serve her. And there's going to be times where people say, oh, you are black. And there's going to be times, as we saw, where people are like, well, you ain't black. I think it's a better sentence to say that you are not aligned with the benefit of the tribe in which you were born into. And I know that's like a long sentence and like it's just easier to say than you ain't black. But I think that like I didn't like it when Joe Biden said it to Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club. I didn't like it when he said if you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. And everybody was outraged. Like, and I'm sure they was more outraged because he an old white man saying it. But it's like, that's the thing that you actually cannot take away from it. If it's something that we could put on and take off whenever it was convenient or not, there'd be a lot of that. Now, sure, are people, are there behaviors that are more often than not associated with one group of people versus another group of people? And that can be any ethnic makeup, any complexion, right? There's certain behaviors that are numbers wise more in line with one group versus the other. But the identifying of Black, if you are of the African diaspora, if you and I always thought Black. When I think Black, I'm always thinking Black American, which is why I imagine a lot of kind of like Hotepi guys and stuff are not even Hotepi, because I was at when I went to the Muslim Women's Leadership Conference a couple of weeks back in Minnesota. There was a lovely, successful Black Muslim businesswoman that was on one of the panels, but every time she referred to Black America, she didn't say Black, she said foundation. She did say Black, forgive me. She said foundational Black people, to distinguish between Black Americans who are descendants of the enslaved Africans that were brought over here and built this country, versus everybody else that is now in the country, wherever in the African diaspora that they come from, but can identify as Black. But it's like, this is not something we could, I could disagree with you. It's even like the Black card thing, like, all right, I don't know. I never really liked that. I never really liked for somebody to say, I'm going to take your Black card, because I don't know an Aretha Franklin song. I mean, I know Aretha Franklin songs, but I'm just giving an example. But even me saying, I know Aretha Franklin, not all of them, probably not most of them. And you should not be able to say that I am not Black because of that. And so I do think that you can be Black and a MAGA supporter, but just like Don Lemon said, I think you out your ever-loving mind. out your rabbit ass mind. And I was gonna go into like self-hate and stuff, but I don't even feel like doing that today. What's next? Oh, speaking of MAGA and Trump, he is so dumb. Why he gotta be? This is too dumb now. Right? This is too dumb, y'all. Listen to the stuff that listen to the stuff he's saying. Like, you can't even make this up. This is, y'all, listen to this.
Daylight savings, it's got to go. It's got to go. Imagine you're dying, you're on your deathbed, you only have a little while to live, and they turn the clocks forward. You die faster. Sorry, kids, Granny's dead. She lost an hour. It's a disgrace. We've got to.
The reason why, Trump said, the reason why we should get rid of daylight savings. Now, here's the thing. Feel how you want to feel about daylight savings, right? But he said the reason we should get rid of daylight savings is because when you move the clock, if you was going to die, if your granny was going to die, they going to die quicker because you moved they going to die an hour earlier because you moved the clock. I don't know who got to take him to church or to a synagogue or to a mosque and explain. I don't know if he got to go back to Science 101. That is not how life and death and time works. It's just not. And then like, sorry, you got to explain to the grandkid. Granny died an hour early because of daylight savings. It's like the time recorded might be a different time recorded, either an hour early or an hour late. I mean, but by that same argument, right? You can say, well, they got another hour of life. Here's another one.
Washington, D.C., I hate it. It makes no sense. They call it the District of Columbia. It's got nothing to do with Columbia. It's nowhere near Columbia. From now on, it will be Washington, D.A. District of America. No more of this Colombian nonsense. No more Washington, D.C.
No more Washington, D.C. District of Columbia is not even near Columbia. That's why I don't even know what to say. That's like saying, no, it's not. We just call it York. It's no longer new. It's been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It's not new. It's just York. Yo. It gets dumber.
Fantastic, fantastic. He was a smart guy, you know, Tesla. First the light bulb, and now this. He was like a modern day Isaac Neutron. It's remarkable, really.
So in complimenting Elon, who we gonna get into how much he love him some Elon. In complimenting Elon, he meant to say Isaac Newton, but he said Isaac Neutron, like the cartoon Jimmy Neutron, and that is admittedly like a funny mistake that anybody could say. You know, we be on here. There's so many times where I'm saying something and then I listen back when I'm editing and I'm like, that is not what. Yo, remember when I was struggling with Minneapolis and Minnesota? Remember? Last year when I was promoting my day, it's like, but it's like, I don't know. That's something to catch. Like, that's something like Isaac, Isaac Newton. I mean, what? That's the cartoon. I mean, Isaac Newton. Like, it's just the commitment to the stupidity is what is unbelievable. Anywho, the reason why I say I have more proof that Trump, our President Trump, is in fact in love with Elon Musk. Not love, like I said, not admiration, in love. I'm not trying to say that they do sexual things, but in love is because of it. You got to be in love to be somebody's step granddaddy. You got to be in love to be somebody's step granddaddy. You want to know why? Because this is just a regular video. Old man walking with a young boy that he know, right? Although that is, where's the mother and where is the father? Where is the mother and where is the father? Why is that young little boy alone with you? About to get on a plane, right? But okay, let's say you the surrogate granddaddy. Let's say you the surrogate granddaddy. The thing that's wrong with this, number one, is you the president of the United States of America. Number two, you got mad grandkids as well as a son. We ain't never. Barron was old enough to, Barron was a kid's age when you was last in office. We ain't see you walk to a plane. We ain't see you walk to a White House, a government helicopter, Air Force One, nothing. We ain't even see you walk into a Trump hotel with Barron. I told y'all at the inauguration, at this second inauguration, I told y'all, I swear to God, I don't have a lip syncer to prove it yet, but I swear to God, but I don't swear to God because I'm playing. But Barron said, nice to meet you, when he shook his father's hand. So why are you walking around with Elon Musk's son? Because you're in love. Because that's your man. That's your man. That is your whole entire man. You are in love. You are in love. You just call him Isaac Neutron. And now you got his son walking around with you during official presidential duties like it's take your grandkid to work day. That boy got a father, a mother, nannies. Why is he with you? Because you in love. Because you are in love. Love, okay? Somebody cue Whitney Houston. And I will always love you. Sorry. Now that was unreasonable, and I apologize, you guys. Okay, what else? Oh, look at us. How long I've been recording? Do we have time? You know what? Sure. So, Dawn Robinson, former member of the group En Vogue, never gonna get it, 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 never, never gonna get it, never get it. En Vogue has classics. En Vogue also played on an episode of A Different World. Anywho, they're like a premier girls group. It's like there's so many like wonderful, fantastic girl groups, but I would say marquee girl groups throughout history that I know of, black girl groups, The Supremes, En Vogue, Destiny's Child. What y'all think? Put it in the comments. I'm not leaving out 702. I'm not leaving out SWV. I'm not leaving out Escape. I'm not leaving out any of them, but I'm talking about like when they make a museum of like the ones that's going to stand out as the standout ones in their time. Because I love some SWV. I get so weak, blood starts racing through my veins. And I met them when I was little, just impromptu. They was doing a photo shoot for like one of the like Vibe magazine or something like that. I was little walking. Where was I going? I think me and my either my mom or my older sister was walking up 7th Avenue, and I was like, oh my God, that's SWV. And I was like, can I? They was like, get in the picture. I don't know whoever got those pictures. And I remember I looked at Coco's nails. She had them long nails. Before people was wearing long nails, Coco had them long nails. And I just remember, because it's like being such a little kid. Like, I don't know. I was probably like 6 or 7, like young. And you know, I was like the little Elon Trump's height. Little Elon Trump Jr.'s height. Donald Musk Jr. I was his height. And so I was right at the level of her hands. And I saw her nails and I was like, oh my God. So I love SWV. But anyway, Dawn Robinson, part of the group, former group member of the girl group En Vogue, she recently uploaded a video explaining that she was living in her car. Let's watch that video.
For the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car. Ah! I said it. Oh my God, it's out. I've been living in my car. Oh my gosh. I was living with my parents in Vegas. And that was wonderful until it wasn't. I love my mom, but she became very angry. And
so it's a longer video. I won't show it all. Feel free to look it up if you guys haven't seen it already. But she basically talks about, this is like she was uploading like vlogs, right? To vlog it and like saying like in the pursuit of like this being almost like a docuseries, right? But of course, people online was only clipping like that really short part. So it just kind of looks like, oh, she's like down and out, right? And so she talks about living in her car and what led to that. And she, apparently she has like, you know, not I guess a strained relationship with her mom. She said that her mom was sort of like taking stuff out on her. And so she had to get out of there. And then I believe a producer or somebody in the business that she knows, they asked her to come stay with, it was a guy, asked her to come stay with him. And she did that for a little while. And then that couldn't work out. And so he put her in a hotel and she ended up being in a hotel for about 10 months. And she didn't specify on the video like who was paying for the hotel. But she did say that after like 10 months, she was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I can't be just living in a hotel. Like, this is going on too long. And then she said she started doing some research and she found it likable or pleasant to live in her car. And then she sort of breaks down that this isn't like a cry for help. This isn't like like I'm not in need of anything. This is something that I want to do. I'm on a very specific journey for myself, I believe. And this is her words. And she's saying that she believes that her being in her car is a part of her journey, a part of her story. And she's admitting it. And she is going to be sharing this journey with us. So a couple of things happened after this video leaked. Obviously, it was a bit viral. And people, of course, had very like uplifting and loving comments, like I loved you and wishing you the best and da 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 da. People who live in their cars, were like, she's a part of the community and blah, and we support her and blah blah blah. And some people were like, oh, this is unfortunate, like what happens to, like, they made it about like black artists and not being supported and not having longevity and like making it like the black white argument, like, oh, white. And I believe that she had this argument too, even if it wasn't a recent post, maybe in her past, she was talking about white artists that are, she might be in a Hall of Fame, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but she was saying that, white artists that have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they aren't hard up for money. Now, I don't know if that was a recent post, forgive me, or if that's just like an old post that people are bringing back because of, her admitting that she's been living in her car. And then a lot of people started a call to action to the people in the industry that are seemingly still successful and worked with her. One of those people being JD. JD is a producer. JD is a huge producer out of Atlanta. And so then JD comments and he listens to the video and he because they're basically saying, hey, y'all, get together and give her some money, like help her out, help her out, help her out. And so then he makes this video.
Having an assistant is not something that you should even think about if you don't have no money, right? And I'm bringing this up because Dawn, when she was telling the story in her car today about her living in her car for the last 3 years, she said, I was telling my assistant. And when she said that, I said, oh, wait a minute. It changed my whole vibe of what I was watching because ain't no goddamn way.
So basically, he's trying to say, like, y'all don't, he's not saying this like as overt as I'm about to say it, but he's saying, why y'all think this is about money? She says she got an assistant. Anybody that's broke, anybody that need money, they don't got an assistant. Now, I will say that ain't very true. So many different scenarios exist in life. People have no money and they also have assistants. It's just like when you see an unhoused person, a homeless person, and they got a big old dog with them and that dog look healthy and that dog look taken care of and that dog look fed. And you like, how is this possible? It's possible. People make a way, find a way, have different priorities, choose different things. Like, it's possible. Maybe the assistant is suffering from the same thing she's suffering from. If she's suffering from anything, I don't know. That's what the ex-husband is claiming, that she ain't really in her right mind. I don't know. Also, there are people who have loads of money, massive amounts of money. They hire assistants, they hire staff, and then they don't pay the staff. And that be the most confusing situation. How you got so much money and I'm begging you to pay me? So I don't think his statement is necessarily true, but I get that he's saying, like, don't come to me. Yo, hold up, y'all. Don't put the burden of her possible unhoused situation on me. Especially if she's saying she got an assistant. But I personally think that this was an unreasonable response. I personally think that JD, if he has any sort of like positive relationship with her, it's as simple as picking up the phone or sending an email or a text like, hey, just checking. I saw your video. I saw the TikTok. You good? You good? Like, that's it. But sometimes I get the pressure because I understand it too. And JD has a much larger platform and profile than I do. But I get the pressure that the public puts on you to like do something. Say something, be something for someone else. And you like, how did I become the solution to this person's problem or this problem in the world? But I think so I understand what he's saying, although I think he should have just not said anything. If nothing else, you check on her in private and that's it. And then maybe if you want to, after you check on her in private, because she didn't name nobody in her video. She wasn't in her video talking about like living in her car. It didn't have like a negative spin. It's my personal opinion that if you can do otherwise, you're not going to live in your car. That's my personal opinion. If I ever got to choose, but if I personally, Zainab Johnson, ever have to choose between a wonderful, comfortable house versus a nice vehicle, sleeping there, I'm going to choose a nice, comfortable house with running water, privacy, space, a bed for me to like fully stretch out in, electricity. That's what I'm going to choose. I don't care how nice the car is that you telling me I can see. Eventually, I'm going to want to be back in the house. Just like when I'm on a road, most times I'm staying in very nice hotels. I'm staying in 4 or 5 star hotels. I can't wait to get back to my bed when it's time for me to come back to. I can't wait. So I do believe that there is something else there, and when she's ready to reveal it, she'll reveal it. The ex-husband, she has an ex-husband, and he said that he thinks that something is wrong because at the beginning of her video, when she says that she stayed with her parents in Vegas, but her mom was like basically, being kind of very hurtful to her. He was saying that as far as he knows, that her mom was the sweetest person in the world, and the behavior that she is putting on her mom, her mom is incapable of. That was what he was saying in his video. And then there was another woman had chimed in who lives in her car, and she's been vlogging from her car, and has like a good amount of following on TikTok. I mean, be flat ironing her hair, everything. And she was just saying like, like leave her alone. Everybody that lives in their car are not broke. And I agree with that. I think that so she said everybody that lives in their car, that doesn't mean that they're broke, right? And like, yeah, sure. Like, I mean, like, I guess you'd have to talk with multiple people and ask every single person like what their idea of broke is, right? Because it's just like you ask somebody like, oh, well, what does a lot mean to you? What does a little mean to you? Because what a little or a lot means to you may not mean that same measure to me, right? But this woman, what is her name? I can get her name. Her handle on TikTok is Mother Nature. Mother Nature. So MOTHERNATEUR. So not spelled traditionally how nature is spelled. And she's a beautiful woman. Looks like she has a really good spirit. Her videos are much more like high energy. Ooh, the sun is setting. So the lighting is a bit weird. Forgive me. But Mother Nature's videos have a bit of a more optimistic energy or nature to them. It just seems a little bit fun. Dawn's video, and it just may be that they have different personalities. But Dawn's video did seem like she was a bit unsure of what was happening. Like it was not the most ideal situation. Like it was a scary thing for her to admit. Which all those things can be true, and it still not mean that she just broke and down and out. But what I did notice about Mother Nature's videos is she
of me living in my... I do not live in my storage unit for the 11th time. Okay, here's my bed. Yes, I do have a bed in here. That's because I didn't want to get rid of it. Shortest story ever told. This is the most important part. This is where I keep my bar. All of my bohemian clothes, all of my 50s pinup attire, my camping gear. By the way, does anybody want a free TV? Someone gave me this and they were walking by my storage and they were like, oh my God, all you need is a TV. And they literally just gave me this 52-inch. So if you want it, you pay for shipping and it's yours. So everybody wants to know how I have power in my storage unit. It's because of this portable power station that I mentioned 5 million times. I bring this everywhere I go. I need to blow dry my hair, flatten my hair, I need to charge my phone, whatever. This is what I use. That's the end of my storage tour. I hope you guys don't have any more fucking questions about it. I love you guys and I was...
So people were saying like, oh, you live in your storage unit. And she was like, stop saying that. I don't live in my storage unit. And I get what she's saying, right? She lives in her car and she lives on the road. Like a lot of her videos are like, I love waking up one day to this scenery and then the next day I could be on the beach. It's like you can do that from a house too. All you need is a car. All you need is a way to get somewhere. But I think that what she may not realize is her storage unit is still a landing place. Her storage unit is still like she had a bed in there. Yeah, she might not sleep there every night, but that is still your that's the place that you go back to, just like homes. I could spend days, I could spend weeks, I could spend a whole year in my car on the road and not be home and not be homeless because I know I have a house to come back to. So her storage unit, it takes the place of a house to come back to. You go back to your storage unit. Now, you may not go back to your storage unit every night. You may go back to your storage unit twice a year, once a month. I don't know. But it still represents the same thing. Now, it might be way less of a burden. You know, you may not have to pay all the bills associated with taking on a home or an apartment, but it still represents the same thing, which is a base that you can come back to. A base that has the stuff that when you go away, the stuff where you leave your stuff. That's what my house is. I can't take everything with me to every show. My house is where I leave my stuff. And then I come back to my stuff when I'm done. I don't know what led Dawn Robinson to live in her car. She's going to tell us. And I don't know. And it seems like it seems like she's sticking to it because there was a man in Indiana, I believe, that offered her a house. He has a 2-bedroom house that he said he was currently renovating, and he was planning on offering it to traveling nurses. But he said that he loved her. He was such a big fan, and he would love to offer it to her to live in. And I think for free. And she said no. She said that he was sweet. She graciously said no, thank you. And so I think this is just a journey that she needs to be on. Now, I would imagine that she is not as financially capable as she probably once was or would like to be. And she may believe that journeying through this will provide clarity as to why that is on the other end of this journey. But what I feel like a lot of people were saying, as well as Mother Nature, it's like, it's her journey. Let her do it. You know, like, why do we feel so strongly? Why do we have to comment so strongly? Why do we feel so strongly about people's paths and people's journeys? Why do we make such strong judgments? Why do we immediately just fill in all the blanks and contextualize it in the way that we want? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd ask if you is a video, sorry, with a girl who, Mother Nature, she's pooping in a bucket in her car. It's like, who wants to do that? Or whatever. Do you guys think that if someone lives in their car, it's reasonable to assume that they are broke? And do you think it's possible to be broke and have an assistant? All right, I'm gonna get up out of here. But first, the Ask Z. This was actually sent in a little while ago, and I'm not even gonna make them anonymous because it's just, the question it's just not necessary. Also, Shanaria is actively on the lives on Sundays and comments and, everything. And so Shanaria wrote in and said, "Hey, Zainab, I've been watching Upload, and season 3 made me feel like Trump started COVID the same way Choke, which is the villain on Upload, was doing by offering Freon. I do wonder if that's a reasonable comparison, but that's not my question. My question is, how closely do you think you relate to your character on Upload? I ask because she's a character, but also she is hilarious. Thanks for your shows, podcasts, and role in the entertainment industry." Thank you so much for sending in a question, Shanaria. I believe I told this story about me playing the role of Aleesha, but maybe I didn't on this show. But Aleesha was written for me. It was created for me. It was a part that didn't exist. And I walked in the room and I auditioned for a different part. And the creator of the show, Greg Daniels, was like, "We really like her. I think I can do this. And would she be willing to do this?" And then once that was in a pilot, and then once the show got picked up to series, he called me and said, "Hey, I think we're going to be picked up to series, and I would like to really build out Aleesha as a character." And so with that said, there's definitely similarities because it's kind of based on the essence that I walked in the room with, right? Which is like, I'm a funny person that, tries my best to tell the truth, and I'm genuine, and, and I'm going to speak up for myself, and I might tell you how it is, or at least how I think it is, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yes, there is some overlap. Where I'd say and let me just say, I actually love being the character on the show. This sort of speaks for the audience at times. I get to say what the audience is probably thinking in certain scenarios, right? That's like a fun character to play. And I was really flattered throughout this entire process for all of the different writers in the writer's room to really be excited and really want to write for my character. I've even had Black female writers in the industry. Every time we got renewed for a new season, they would, slide in my DM like, "Hey, can you please let me know when the writer's room is, or put in a good word, because I want to write for Aleesha so bad," And so I am really, really flattered by that. That people want to give me stuff to do. I love that. But I would say the choices that Aleesha makes are not what I would do as Zainab. Like Nora and Nathan, I would have been like, girl, what we doing? Girl, no. The boy who is uploaded, girl, come on. No, we're not doing this. When you think about all the plot points and stuff, and what season 2, she had me running around the city with freaking iPads on my chest. Nora had Aleesha running around the city looking for Freon choke stuff, lying, telling me that we was going. No, I would not be okay with that. But Aleesha, I sometimes when they write certain scenarios for Aleesha, I have to say Aleesha is loyal to a fault. I am logical to a fault. Maybe I'll become irrational when I have children, but I'm super logical. And so my logic always says, well, wait, what? And so I always have to remember sometimes when I'm reading the scripts, like, wait, what's she going to do? Okay, well, Aleesha, it's not even like, oh, Aleesha loves Nora so much, or oh, because Aleesha is like marches to the beat of her own drum, but she is loyal to a fault. And I think part of what speaks to that is in season 3, when they do the family episode and you see Aleesha's family, it's like she's trying to get their approval, and it's like she's doing so well and so much better than she was when we first meet her, and her family is really unappreciative. And I think that where she's seeing the most like positive reinforcement of her actions and her choices is with her work family, which is how she gets so close to Luke. As much as she is against it at first, it's like, oh, okay, I'm seeing the support here versus my family. And I'm seeing the support by Nora versus like when I was working, when Aleesha was working 3 jobs. These are like subtle things that are in the show. Of course, we create so much of the backstory, but like, when Aleesha was working 3 or 4 jobs, living in a container unit, like a storage unit, essentially. Nora would come and walk the dogs with her. And so, yeah, she don't really like what Nora's kind of like in a crazy place these seasons, but it's like, that's her girl now. That's her friend. That's her ace boom, and so, yeah, so I think there's a lot of overlap in terms of the personality of like mine and Aleesha. And I always try, like they write certain things and I'll try to say it the way I want to say it, versus like the way it's written. Sometimes I'll like say it how I think it should be said. And so I'm sure she sounds like me sometimes. But like the choices she makes are a bit different than the choices that I would make in those same scenarios. And I think her comedy is also different, obviously, because I'm delivering comedy written by other people, where when you come and see, a lot of people come to my shows because they're fans of Upload. They didn't even know I was a stand-up comedian, but then they love Upload so much and they're like, oh shoot, and she's a stand-up comedian, and they come to my show and it's like, oh wow, your comedy is much different than Aleesha's comedy, because my comedy is coming from my mind, my lived experiences, versus Aleesha's a fictional character in a fictional world, But thank you for asking that, and thank you so much for watching. Season 4, the 4th and final season, will be coming out this year, inshallah. And as soon as I know an exact date, I will let you guys know. All right, that is it for me, you guys. This has been another episode of I'm Reasonable. Like I always say, stay reasonable until I see you guys next time. All righty.